polarization. It affects almost every aspect of American political life.
Instead of voters being shaped by news, news is being shaped for voters.
More protests and uprisings are expected in Minnesota and across the country.
Overnight, police did use tear gas to disperse the crowds.
In today's day and age, social media has become the primary source of communication, ideas, and progress. Over 90% of US citizens are users of various social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. With so many members of our society existing on social media, the impact of social media cannot be underestimated nor ignored. Not only does social media impact me, but millions of others across the globe.
We want to open things up for discussion. We don't want to close off conversation. The founding fathers never imagined what social media would be. They couldn't, in their wildest dreams, have imagined social media. But I think if they could come back to life today, they would say, this is an opportunity for people's voices to be heard. And so I think social media fits into the idea of the First Amendment, which is don't shut off voices, open them up.
Recently, big tech companies have been cracking down on protecting society from dangerous rhetoric. The issue though at hand is that these big tech companies are protecting us from either danger or are they limiting our free speech? Either way, both sides of the political spectrum have wanted the government to step in. On the federal level, what can the government do to fix this issue? According to the Center, as of June 2020, about 47% of adults believe that social media should be regulated by the government. Furthermore, shockingly, 72% of US adults in the same time frame believe that social media companies are becoming too powerful and influencing politics. With these numbers being so high, it's important to look into what the government is doing exactly. Overall, there are not many laws or policies that affect social media in the US, but one law stands out more than the others: Section 230.
So Section 230 was created out of the 1996 Telecommunications Act. It was part of the Communications Decency Act. It was the one section that actually was upheld by the court. And what Section 230 allows for was the growth of the internet to bring expression of people's, their point of view and things forward without the actual website owner to have the liability for anything that was said.
It has been known as the 26 words that created the internet. Those simple 26 words have not only impacted the nation, but have caused an uproar in political discourse on both sides. The federal government has for the most part abandoned the idea of expanding social media regulation, leaving certain states to start attacking the controversial issue. Sadly, the issue is becoming too strong for the government to continue to stay silent. President Trump and current President Joe Biden have both spoken out about Section 230.
When it comes to content, there's not an awful lot of regulation. Mostly the marketplace is what regulates them. Now, that's not to say that there is no regulation. So, for example, it would be possible, not likely, but possible, that if you were defamed on one of them, then you might be able to seek some sort of legal redress if you could figure out that that social media company was grossly negligent in allowing it to go on.
Is it time for a change? Should these private companies start being held accountable for content on their websites? These are all issues that need to be addressed. Social media is a tool intended for good use, but has been transformed into quite the opposite for many people. As citizens of the United States of America, it is our responsibility to keep social media as a platform designed for free speech, without infecting the public with hazardous information and actions.
And the truth is, you can't have it both ways. You either have free speech and allow people to be messy along the way, or if you want order, you regulate it. But then you don't get very much truth. If you want democracy, you have to put up with a certain amount of messiness.
But is that messiness something we want? Many people believe that regulation is fair and that the government always has our best interests at hand.
I wanted to question the usefulness of some of those laws, because there are some cases where that's just not applicable. Like, climate change is an undeniable fact. vaccines are safe. That is an undeniable fact. Like, there are some things that should not have more than one side. And yet you can see Fox News and Breitbart and all of these crazy news outlets spewing out misinformation that half of the country will only believe.
No matter what side you fall on, or what you believe, we can agree on this. We all know how important social media is. We all know how important our country is. And lastly, we all know how important democracy is. So we need to make sure change is happening, and that the federal government recognizes these problems and addresses them accordingly. Because if not, we will forever become blocked.